All right, Shalom, Shalom, Kol Halo Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Akakwadash. Yahweh is the true name of God in the Hebrew tongue. Bahashem means in the name of, and Yahushai is the true name of the Son of the Most High, and Rakakwadash is the Holy Spirit. And double honors to the elders and the apostles of GMS, and Shalom to the hopeful elect. I'm the brother Kazak, back with another lesson. And look at this one right here from the Sun. News reads, no. Dangerous chemicals found in 80% of McDonald's, Burger King. Oh, sorry. Let me start that again. No. Dangerous chemicals found in 80% of McDonald's, Burger King, Pizza Hut, and Domino's meal. So you see, the food that we're eating is toxic. And, I just want to put this out there as well. That, you see, this government, they create these foods that have all these toxic chemicals. But then the same government will turn around and act like they got so much care for your health. Oh, look, take the stabs. Take the first dose. Take the second dose. It's for your health. Take the boosters. But then these same people are creating these foods with all these chemicals that are killing us and giving us these cancers. See, that's why the scripture says never trust thine enemy. And I'll read into this precept, but before I do, let me get this precept out. This is Ezekiel, the 4th chapter, starting off with the 12th verse. Okay, and it reads, "And thou shalt eat it as barley cakes, and thou shalt bake it with dung that cometh out of a man in their sight." So the Lord had instructed the prophet Ezekiel to do, to perform certain acts. And one of these acts was to actually eat cow shit. And the reason why the Lord told Ezekiel to eat cow shit, we're going to read in the next verse. It says, "And the Lord Yahweh Shai said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread amongst the Gentiles, whither I will drive them." So you see, Ezekiel was doing that to show the Israelites that, look, me eating shit, the Israelites were looking at Ezekiel like he's crazy. But that was prophecy. You same Israelites are going to eat your bread defiled amongst the heathen that you're going to be scared to. And then when you look in the year 2021, us being the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, we being the Israelites and we being scattered amongst these other nations, we find ourselves eating these McDonald's and Burger Kings, Pizza Hut, and Domino's. And all these foods have toxic chemicals. You see? So now let's read into this. Chemicals that can cause reproductive issues. Wow. And learning problems in children have been found in the foods at some of your favorite chains, a study has revealed. Samples taken from McDonald's, Burger King, Pizza Hut, Domino's, and Chipotle meals were found to include industrial chemicals. And these are the same people who are forcing you to take a stab for your safety. These people don't care about your safety, man. So let's read. A new study based on samples from restaurants in San Antonio, U.S. found small amounts of phthalates. I don't know what that is, but it's going to explain what it is. It says these chemicals are used to make plastic soft and were found in 80% of the samples collected. The chemical is linked to a range of health problems, including issues in the endocrine system, which is a series of glands that produces and secretes hormones in the body, a previous study found. Phthalates are also linked to fertility and reproductive issues, with one 2020 study having found that the chemicals may induce alterations in puberty, the development of testicular dysgenesis syndrome, cancer, and fertility disorders in both males and females. Let's get this precept, man. I was holding this one. Ecclesiasticus, the 12th chapter and the 10th verse. It reads, "Never trust thine enemy." Okay, we have an enemy, man. Our people have fallen for the propaganda of, we're all equal, we're all the same. I love you, you love me. No, we got enemies, man. When you read the book of Psalms, the 83rd chapter, King David talks about all the enemies of Israel. And the first on the list is Esau, Edom, the Edomites, the so-called white race. They're the Edomites and they're our enemies, man. When you study history, it's not far off. Same people who put us in slave ships, Same people put crack in the neighborhoods. The same fucking people putting these chemicals in the foods you eat, Jake. Scripture is telling you never trust an enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. See, the scriptures are saying, though he humble himself and go crouching. And an example of him humbling himself is, oh, there's a new virus out. We've done everything we can to make sure the people are safe. Okay, so take these stabs for your safety. That's the enemy humbling himself. But the scripture says, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away. Because that is still our enemy, man. Israel. Man, 80%. And all of us Jakes, when we was younger, we loved to eat these McDonald's and all of that. Happy Meals. The target audience is really children. Let's read a little bit more of this. Another study published earlier this year also called for critical policy reforms on the chemical after it found that it raises the risk of attention behavior and a learning disorder in kids. So you see how a lot of kids are being diagnosed with ADHD. But then when you study the foods that they eat, it's coming out that, look, these foods that the children eat, what it does is, as it reads, the risk of attention behavior and learning disorder in kids. Phthalates are used for a variety of things and are often in rubber gloves and industrial tubing. Food processing is different in different countries, and the way fast food is produced in the US will differ from the UK and Europe. And, we're reading this from the US because the US is actually Babylon the Great, man. US is the worst of the worst. And that's why the United Snakes of America is predestined for nuclear missiles. And after the nuclear missiles drop, because, nukes will actually hit other countries as well. But those countries will be built back up. Only Babylon the Great America, once nukes hit, that's going to be a desert. That's going to be an uninhabitable place, man. That's how much is coming for Babylon the Great. So I'm going to end this lesson off. Hopefully this one is an edifying lesson. Kol Halo Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Akakwadash. Shalom.